That was really good. Say
Which
that
part?
one more time.
Which
The
part?
whole doggone thing. About the blame. Say it
Okay,
again about the
so
blame.
blaming is it's a game that we all play. We try to blame other people for our trauma. We try to blame people for what's happening. But my mother had an addiction to manipulation and an addiction to codependency. So when somebody is addicted to something, they cannot see the problem. I don't blame my mother for not being able to see the problem. I'm grateful that I have conscious awareness that I don't ever have to talk to my father again. And I remember my sisters and I are each 2.5 years apart. We have asked my mom several times to get a divorce from my father. We were well aware of my dad's narcissistic abuse and well aware that he was doing something that was wrong. I can't tell you how many times we would watch Dr. Phil and couldn't wait for my dad to pay attention. But my dad called Dr. Phil Dr. Quack every single day because he did not agree with his theories. He didn't agree with the way he was breaking up families or causing issues within enmeshed families with no boundaries. So for me, I don't blame my mother, but other people will, because that's what we do. We're taught to blame other people for what we've experienced. I also recognize that my mother wanted to be a superhero, and that is exactly what she trained us to believe, was that she was our superhero.
Hmm.
One thing that's full cycle for me, when my dad went to jail for domestic violence, he tore apart the entire house. It was a period of, I think, a week of just constant fighting between the two of them until the final day. What I remember the most was him throwing things down the stairs, going into their bedroom. My mom grabbed the wireless old school phone, called the police, and had my baby sister, was about 1.5, on her hip. And my other sister and I were glued to my mom's legs. This is a very traumatic movie scene in my mind, okay?
Wow.
And when she held all of us and she was crying, this was her safeguard. In a constant state of trauma, she held her children as her safe place. And she made her children feel that she was their safe place. Now, fast forward to 6 months ago, my mom picked a fight with me because I was complaining about how our society and our culture is so based around medication like antibiotics. My daughter got strep throat, and I found out that oil of oregano will help if you mix it with coconut oil and put it on your toes. That actually helps you fight the infection in the body without having to take medications. I was terrified to take my daughter to the doctor because I had gone to the doctor a lot for strep throat as a kid. That is when my mom called me delusional for thinking my childhood was what it was. And she grabbed my daughter and sat on the couch and pulled her into her. So this is a full circle for me of recognizing that my mom was creating a safe space for my daughter while she was instigating a chaotic argument with me over something that I was venting about that had nothing to do with my mother, had everything to do with societal and cultural issues, but she took it personal as I was attacking her for the childhood I had, because that was her own insecurities for the trauma she knew we all experienced together. So for me, that was a full cycle and an immediate red flag of I need to get my child out of this. But
before you go any further, Amber, I've got to do this. Darcy, I need you to do me a huge favor and comment on what Amber just said and what Miss Angel has on the screen.
Well, okay, absolutely. I can relate to having the narcissistic father, but unfortunately, my mother was also narcissistic, and my sister. So that's my entire nuclear
You guys
family.
just keep surprising me here. Everybody just keeps surprising me. I'm going to have a 3-hour show, but go ahead.
So, I mean, there is no safe spot there. And my mom enabled my father, the narcissist, even though they were divorced. And we were taught to just, appease the biggest jerk in the room, basically, which led into the people that I dealt with romantically for life. So I do blame my mom. Hope they don't blame mom. I do blame my mom. She knows it. She'll never take accountability for it. And in my family, much like yours, Amber, if you come out of that enmeshment in any way and speak your truth and recognize the truth, you're the black sheep. But you know what? Black sheep are some of my most favorite people in the entire world. Like, that is just exactly who I want to see. And I'm lucky enough to have a nephew who is now the black sheep of his immediate family. And we just sit at the reunion and chat about what's really going on. So anyway, I think that once you recognize that they're narcissist after all of the therapy you've had to have because of it, then you, of course, question yourself. Am I a narcissist too? No, I wouldn't have asked that question if I was. But, so moving forward, I think that the best thing you can do, what I do, I have a daughter too. She's 16. And she knows what I do for a living, that I help people who've been through narcissistic abuse. And she knows all of the jargon. She knows all of the, hashtags. And she and her friends talk about it. Well, I think he's a narcissist because he did this and that. And he's got, all these red flags. So thank God for that. At least we can talk about it. And when her narcissist father has a tantrum, which he does from time to time, and blames her for things, we can sit and sort of deconstruct it. Like, okay, well, yeah, that's classic narcissism right there. So don't you dare ever date.
Angel should be, journaling about her past, journaling what in that terminology for her does that mean that her mother tried? What is trying to you? Is it trying to fix the narcissist? Because there's no such thing as fixing the narcissist. You cannot fix the narcissist. You can never repair the damage that's been done, and you can never repair the relationship that they've built with you. Is she trying to better herself? If she's trying to better herself, that might mean getting away from the narcissist. Also patterns, what patterns did your mother take from her parents? What relationship did her parents have? Going backwards and figuring out those past cycles is super important to recognizing what your mother actually did for you. If your mother loved you unconditionally and allowed you the freedom to become the person that you are consciously aware that your father is narcissist. That's good. That's awesome that she gave you that freedom. And so it's not a blame game. You can't blame a mother for staying somewhere where she's addicted to being there. You can't blame a mother for the past trauma that she's experienced. So, in any case, everyone there needs either therapy, recovery groups. I've recently joined a recovery group for adult children of alcoholics and dysfunctional families. There are no alcoholics in my family, but I absolutely come from a dysfunctional family. Wow. I'm learning that the only way that you heal is by doing what we are doing now, and that's sharing your story and sharing your experience and talking about it until you heal. Go
ahead, Leon. You were going to say something. Sally and Leon, feel free to jump in here and talk about what Darcy and Amber and Miss Angel was talking about there. Go right ahead, Leon. You had your hand up there.
Amber, I didn't see the names. That's Amber with the gray shirt on, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
She is spot.
Let me say this, everybody. If you're confused who Amber is, just look for the thug in the room. Because I was gonna wear my hat today, and I saw yours on, and I went like, dude, I should have did it. We would have had this rolling.
Next time. Quick background about the hat. I have a mullet from shaving my head. I used to be as bald as these two gentlemen in the room, but now I got a mullet, and it does weird things, so I have to wear the hat when it does weird things.
Go ahead, Leon. You were gonna say.
Yeah, Amber's spot on. She covered everything. This is for Miss Angel. You have to understand that something happened to your mother in her childhood, in her adulthood, in her adulthood. Whatever happened. Did she or did she not get therapy to process to move forward?
Yes.
Dealing with fear of abandonment because somebody may have left her. So she latched on. You all watched it. The children watched the cycle of abuse, and then they walked away. But mom stayed after she tried. So she may not want to let go. Why? She needs to find it out. But there needs to be some intervention with that family. Like I mentioned earlier, my mother lost 6 people in 3 years. That's an average of 1 person every 6 months. So what she latched onto, instead of latching onto a man, like Miss Angel said, her mom latched onto her dad. My mother latched onto drugs. And somebody mentioned earlier, we have those vices, those addictions that make us feel good. It fills our void. So your mother has a void. And it was at the expense of losing your relationship possibly with her children that walked away. So you have to go back to her childhood and find out what happened. Why did she get therapy? Did she get therapy? If she did she implement it? So it's very important that you realize I learned in therapy that I had to go back to what happened to my mother. What's going on? Why does she act like this? Why did she react? Why did she turn out this way? It was all about what happened, what she wasn't getting from her mother or her father, and her family was separated. So she didn't get that love and care from her children, me and my sister and I, or her husband, my dad, when they got divorced. She lost us 3 too. So for Miss, what was her name? Miss King. What was the lady's name?
Miss Angel.
Miss Angel. Don't just solely blame your mother. First, find out why your mother is the way that she is, because she's probably lost before in her life and can't deal with losing your dad or her husband.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say to that too. That's the reason I got out. That was the main reason I got out. I was not modeling what love was.
Hmm.
This was not
Wow.
a romantic love that my kids, will grow up seeing. So that was my main push. I have a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old. That was a couple years ago, when we filed for divorce, but they've seen it their whole lives, and so that was my final push so that I, basically didn't get blamed.
Thank you for doing that for your kids, Sally.
Yep.
You're a super mom.
Thank you.
You
right.
have, go ahead, Leon, you were going to say something. We're going to talk about being discarded next. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just saying, tell her thank you. for doing that.
When it comes to being discarded, that was a tactic that was used by you, Leon, no doubt. But ladies, feel free to go first, and then Leon, you go last, talking about the discard.